My name is Sebastian Culp, and today I'll be going over the Cold War. So basically, it was United States and its allies, you know, in conflict with the Soviet Union and other communist countries. And so basically, what happened was the Americans and its allies were afraid of expansion of communism, which basically was the Soviet Union at the time, and the Soviet Union started expanding into Eastern Europe, and that kind of made a lot of Americans fear, this idea of taking away your rights and freedom, because Americans freedom, yeah, and so George Kennan wrote the idea of containment in what's called the Long Telegram, where he basically said, we need to stop it here and keep them from expanding anywhere else. And so that kind of started with Iran and Turkey. It's kind of where that stopping the expansion right there. And so he made a containment strategy, which he explained. And then there is the Red Scare, which was pretty much in America. A lot of people were afraid of communism growing in the United States, so they started just firing people that other people said they're kind of communist and they could be. So a bunch of people got fired in government and in the entertainment studios. And then as it started escalating into an atomic age, so they began arms race. Pretty much it was the United States and the Soviet Union trying to get more create more nuclear bombs and try to create a new one, more stronger and more powerful. And that created the hydrogen bomb, which is very devastating. They tested it on in the Marshall Islands, where it pretty much destroyed the entire island. It created a big kind of explosion. It was 25 square miles. That's how big the explosion was. It could take out half of Manhattan. And then this led to, the Cuban Missile Crisis, where communism spread to small third world countries such as Cuba, and this created more conflicts and a scare of we're gonna get bombed. So we started building more and more shelters, and they had training at schools to go to those shelters in case anything like that happened. And then this whenever Nixon became president, he decided to, let's change this from a military perspective into a diplomatic perspective, and this led to the dialing down of nuclear bombs. It stopped that, and then this led to the space race, where there's a competition between who can get to space first, and then who can get to the moon first, put the first man on the moon. Sputnik was a satellite from Russia. They made it to space first with a satellite. Then they also got a man in space first, but then with the Apollo 11 mission, we got the first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong. And then with the Cold War was coming to a close, that's when the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty was created, which was when Nixon made the treaty with Soviet Union, saying that let's just cut out the nuclear bombs race. And then after he was president, and Reagan became president, the conflict started coming back up. Not with the bombs or anything, but just the chances of fighting them. And so in his Reagan document, this led to the Soviet Union they changed their economic status and changed the way they were in the government, and this led to them slowly kind of deteriorating. And this led to this speech from Ronald Reagan where he said, "Tear down this wall," and that ended, and that was the fall of the Soviet Union.